What's up, everybody? Demon back. Welcome to a brand new, what was supposed to be Godzilla anime news updates, but has just become a general Godzilla news updates video. So, first things first, the Godzilla anime, the thing that I was really excited to talk about, I still am, because I think we can have some sort of guess of what's going on here. So with the Godzilla anime, there's been a new poster that's been released. It's not really a poster, it's just new artwork that's been released. This goes along with the old artwork we already had. Really cool. I mean, it's this overgrown forest planet with these trees that just don't look human. There's giant robots walking around, like these big robots. And then compare that with the previous one of these three soldiers on a forest planet standing next to a spaceship. I think we can start to take some guesses at what the story is going to be. Now, my personal guess of what the story is going to be based off these two artworks, keep in mind this is not going to be correct most likely just because of how early in development the movie is. We don't really have enough information to make a real guess. But from this point, I'm going to assume that the movie is going to be something really cool. Because if this is true, if my guess is true, and this movie is something that they could not accomplish with live action, that's going to be great. Because what I feel like this might be is a stab in the dark. This is the makers of the anime taking a shot at portraying a future Godzilla, at portraying a future where, from the looks of it, I'm going to assume this is planet Earth. From the looks of it, planet Earth has been overrun by giant monsters to the point where presumably humans had to evacuate. Now they're coming back and they're checking it out, which, if that's true, that will be an amazing movie. Now, if you're like, well, where do you get this guess from? Here's the reasons why. Here's my evidence to support that. Number one, we see these people on a very overgrown planet. Now, if you take a look at planet Earth, we don't really have too many overgrown areas like this. We don't have any fully overgrown areas like this to the point where we would need, like, a spaceship to get there. So, the fact that we have a spaceship also... The fact that we have a spaceship and giant robots tells us that it's in the future at the very least, or a different universe where they progressed a lot faster than we did. So these things, so if my theory is true, they would have had to take this spaceship and bring some robots down onto Earth so they could investigate what's going on. Now, the reason I feel like it's going to be Earth is just because, I don't really think they're going to turn Godzilla into a space monster. The other thing about this that makes me think that it's people coming back to Earth for the first time is that it looks a lot, and it reminds me a lot of that James Cameron Avatar movie. Not necessarily a good thing. I wasn't a fan of that movie, but it gives me that kind of feel where it's like giant robots on this unusual planet they're coming to. So I feel like they're probably going to Earth because, like I just said, they're not going to make Godzilla a space monster. I feel like they're coming to Earth, or they're going to, maybe it's secluded. Maybe this is Monster Island. They're going to Monster Island. They're going to a secluded area on Earth, and they're checking out this kaiju situation. It might be also a cool idea if we just had our characters on Earth, and all the monsters had been rounded up, stuck on Monster Island, and Monster Island had not been touched for years and years, and now they have to go in and get something. That could also be a cool idea to toy around with. I really like the space idea where the monsters got so bad on Earth we had to up and leave. I think that would be a much cooler thing, something that we couldn't accomplish with live action, and that would justify the need for an anime. Now, I was going to spend the full video talking about that, but then also the fact that the voice actors have been announced. The voice actors being Yuuki Kaji, Takahiro Sakurai. Now, keep in mind I'm pronouncing these names all wrong, and then there's some more. So, the full cast list will be in the description so you guys can check it out on your own. I don't know anything about these voice actors, but I hope they're good. I mean, hopefully they're good. Because I don't want to have to sit through a bad acted movie with the voice acting. Yes, because you can voice act terribly. I've seen it before. I really don't want that to happen. The next big news has to relate to Legendary's Godzilla as well as Kong Skull Island, which is why I'm rocking this awesome shirt. I love this shirt. So this has to do with these. I'm not happy about this at all. This is the fact that the Godzilla and Kong shared universe has now been trademarked with a specific name. I hate the name. I absolutely hate it. Alright, so, It's been trademarked the MONSTERVERSE. A lot of people are hyped about this. I think that's a dumb name, honestly. I am going to stick with calling it the Kaiju Cinematic Universe, and the only reason for that is because I think it sounds a whole lot cooler. MONSTERVERSE, I know, it's short and sweet and rolls off the tongue much easier. Also, you don't have to pronounce a Japanese word in that title, but I just personally don't like the term MonsterVerse. It kind of sounds lame in my opinion. So I'm going to keep calling it the Kaiju Cinematic Universe. I know, given a couple months with me continuing to refer to it as the Kaiju Cinematic Universe, I'm going to get lots of people saying, "Don't you know it's the MonsterVerse, idiot?" Yeah, I get it. I get that it's the MonsterVerse, but I'm not going to be referring to it until I have to. I'm going to keep calling it the Kaiju Cinematic Universe because MonsterVerse is kind of a dumb name in my opinion. And the last news is pretty cool. We discussed it previously on this channel. And this is for the movie Colossal. This is the movie starring Anne Hathaway. Also, Jason Sudeikis is in it. I think he's a hilarious actor, so I did not know he was going to be in it. So now that I see him in the cast, him in the trailer, I'm really excited for this one. Now you might be like, well, this doesn't have anything to do with Godzilla. First of all, it's a kaiju movie. It is done in the vein of the old school kaiju movies, and it is done supposedly for love of those movies. And it is also, originally, the monster's design in the movie was identical to Godzilla's. Here's the original poster. This actually got into a huge dispute where I believe it was Legendary was like, you can't use that design. That is our design. And they were like, whatever. So this movie actually, if I remember correctly from my previous news update, I should have double checked this, but from the previous news update, this did air up in Canada, and it was like some film festivals in Canada or something like that they got to play this movie, and supposedly it was good. If you want to know about the full plot of the movie, because now that it's actually coming out, I'm not going to spoil it here, so if you want to know about the plot of that movie, go check out the previous video I did on it so that I don't ruin anything here for people who want to see it like I do. So the movie Colossal, I still don't know if it's going to get a theatrical release here in the USA, but it looks like they changed up the monster design to make it a lot less Godzilla-like. It doesn't even resemble Godzilla anymore. So if you have seen the trailer for it, it looks like it's going to be a comedy movie, which actually the original description for it did not sound like a comedy whatsoever. It sounded like it was going to be kind of a sad, serious movie. This one looks like they may have done reshoots and changed the tone. I'm not sure, because originally, if you go back and check out the description for the video, the description for the movie that we previously talked about in the news update linked below, you'll know that, it did not sound like this happy, fun time. It didn't, but this one looks like a comedy. If you've seen the trailer, it looks like a comedy. Even the Colossal font is done up like like a goofy kind of like pink kind of lipstick font. So it seems to be taking a totally new tone than we previously expected, as well as the inclusion of Jason Sudeikis, a comedy actor. So this is going to be a really, hopefully a funny, cool monster movie, and I'm excited for it. I want to see it because it looks like a fun premise. Anne Hathaway, she gets drunk and then controls a monster that materializes out of nowhere across the world. I believe in China it shows up, and originally the one we talked about previously for Colossal, we talked about how supposedly it was every time she went into this park, all of a sudden this Godzilla would appear, not Godzilla obviously, but he looked like Godzilla would appear in this area, destroy stuff until she left the park, and it would mimic her movements. Now you see it in the trailer, she's figured it out, she sticks her hand up in the air, the kaiju does also, she freaks out, she starts dancing and it dances with her. It's funny. I cannot wait to see this movie because it looks like something totally new and fresh for the monster movies. It looks like a totally new, fresh take on kaiju movies. And also, supposedly, if it's done with love and respect for the original, the Godzilla movies, why wouldn't I love it? It looks like it could be a whole lot of fun. So, thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me what you guys think about the Godzilla anime, my theory for it, MonsterVerse, as well as Colossal down below. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. D-Man, out.